G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. Now, I know it's a controversial topic and I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from the women's, but ladies, you got to know, right? And men, you got to have a laugh. 20 things women do that and deliberately do, I think, that make women unattractive to men. Now, I think a lot of it is done on purpose. The good old, I'm going to test how far I can push you kind of thing. Some of it is, your time's up. When women start creating drama, your time's up. So there's many reasons why you should actually get to know, because men do it to you too. But when push comes to shove, these are predominant things women do to men on purpose. But before I do go into the list, I am sponsored by you, the audience. So, Empire Vels, that's one word, empirevels.myshopify.com. I got your coffee mugs right here. I got your water bottles right here. I got your stainless steel travel mugs right here, your ceramic, here we go, your enamel, and I did think I had something, porcelain in your slim, your 10 ounce, for your tea, your 11 ounce standard coffee cup. You got your magic color reveal coffee cup. I got most things are going forward are going to be themed on the Empire of Elves. Now, this is a little incantation that I came up with Cade when he does his coffee. I shall once again require aid of your dark magic. He makes himself a little magic brew to give himself a pick me up. And readers of the series know that he's a dirty old man at 18. So, yeah, there he is. So, yeah. All right. So, got more to come. Believe it. Oops. What happened here? All right. Blank screen. Nope. Switch to the wrong camera view. That's all. Switch them back. Right. Alrighty. Back. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. I think if you look back on your own personal experience, these are a variety of actions that women take that are often cited as unattractive, and things that I believe women do intentional to drive off men, the so-called undesirable attention, and then basically becomes habits for life. Instead of brushing off politely, they're extremely negative. Now, so number one is extreme negativity. Constant criticism, cynicism, and adopting the whole world against me attitude, aka feminism, victim mentality. 2, entitlement and neediness. Which is worse? They're both similar in nature, so they're lumped together, but acting as if the world owes you, feminism, and of course then acting as if they deserve everything good, but the worst is constant validation, and it is a form of entitlement. They think they're entitled to praise for everything. You look good, honey. Oh, I love what you did with your hair. Oh, amazing shoes. And it's like, it's, yeah. So they go out and buy new shoes over and over and over again for validation. Yeah. Number 3, dishonesty. A dishonest person is untrustworthy, whether it's lying, cheating, or being two-faced. Now, the most hypocritical person on the planet is a feminist, because a lot of them are lesbian until graduation, or they meet a billionaire and it's, hey, meet my girlfriend, and even then they cheat. Right? They have everything they wanted, they'll still cheat. 4, poor personal hygiene. Now, a lot of feminism does have deliberate poor grooming. Now, a lot of your well-dressed women are not washing their coochie, uncleanliness buttholes, not shaving, and after a certain age, women are not doing their armpits anymore. I mean, what are you, French? No, feminism has created a generation of women with very poor grooming habits. And I'm not just talking about your typical feminist whose breath smells like tuna. I'm talking about who don't wash their cooch. And all it takes is fresh water, right? But number 6, excessively loud. You ever heard her across the room? Or the latest feminist craze, constant profanity? Yeah. The lack of ladylike behaviour is a big turn-off for the vast majority. Now, I don't claim to speak for the vast majority, but I do know, as a fact, more and more men every day have stopped dating. And there are exit polls conducted by large organisations for the government to try and figure out what's going wrong, but they've so far yet to come up with any policies out of the fact that men are walking away. So, I'm giving you the 20 reasons why men are walking away. So, number 7, in no particular order, jealousy and or controlling behaviour. Because women are very possessive of their man, controlling or demanding, and we all know this is a red flag because cheaters do it, right? They want to make sure that you're having a miserable time while they're rubbing your nose in their drama. Lack of ambition, compassion, or passion. Now, a lot of women do not have a personal goal. You ask them what they want to be, they shrug. You ask them what their hobbies are, they shrug. But they do have some ambition because they don't want to tell you, to rob you blind. And so when they have a lack of ambition, passion, or any structure in their life, you know what their goal is. Legs in the air, get as much as they can, and as often as they can. Constant gossip. Sometimes I think this is probably one of the worst behaviours women engage in because it fits with a lot of other bad behaviours where they are degrading, demeaning, condescending, crass, rude, negative about everyone, particularly you and your pee-pee, and of course judging performance and judging pee-pees. Constant gossip. They just can't help themselves, and that's why men are walking away. A reason. Another one, number 10, financial irresponsibility. It's not just deliberate, right? To lean on, to have an excuse, to expect someone else to pay for everything. And then they tell you how stunning and brave and independent they are at the same time. Hypocrites, of course. But it's all deliberate behaviour to basically control you, to extort as much of your secrets as they can. Machiavelli would tell you and tried to tell you about loaded questions, right? Questions that are designed to get you to try and reveal your sources. Like, I don't believe you. show me the proof. Or how did you do this? Yeah. Financial irresponsibility, as if men have some sort of super secret to balancing a checkbook. Yes, it's called math. 11. Over emotional reactions. Hyperbolic reactions to any trivial matter. Instant turn off. Again, it's a controlling, manipulative behaviour, though even if you don't recognise it as such, you see it as a red flag, and a lot of men these days are moving on very quickly once the drama starts. Social media validation. Your Kardashian, right? Your Disney princess type who has to dress up, the latest fashion, or worse, bikini, or even worse, these days, underwear, or your average TikToker these days are flashing their boobies, not physically, but, they've got the top, the low cut, the no bra. They're obsessed with social media, making video after video on why men don't deserve anything, and then wonder why no man wants them. But now, what's the difference between seeking online attention and excessive seeking online attention? Can you put social media down after that 1 hour, 2 hour recording session? Heck, I know some people now who are making multiple videos a day and they are still dissatisfied, or they're streaming for 10 hours a day and threatening to neck themselves if they don't get enough super chats. It's ridiculous. Particularly when you're a multi-millionaire, Hassan. Pokimane. Although, allegedly, some of these people are now broke and living on the fumes of their former empires. As cost of livings and taxes spiral, they are feeling the pinch. Which is why a lot of us are trying to get and need a second income, because our primary income, i.e. streaming, doesn't pay even the minimum wage, yet Google makes more money than ever off us, and they do not pay down. They won't even give us $1 a video if they make it, right? They make more than $1 a video, and yet they do not even pay us $1, right? Google have even started taking ads off people to say, oh, look, you got a free platform, you should be grateful. It's like, no, you do put ads on some countries and not others. So if you see ads on my video, remember, I'm not getting anything from them until you see that 1,000 subscribers, or that, and even then it might not be monetized. See, YouTube, for whatever reason, got people used to the idea that anybody could make it. That's no longer true. And a lot of people out there think every YouTuber is a success. That ain't true. Even some of the top YouTubers who have a lot of followers are not making a profit. There are some YouTubers who are now spending $3 to make one. Yeah, it's sad. But the cost of streaming platforms has gone up. Your microphones have gone up. A good quality camera that's going to last have gone up. Mine's just a 2K camera. And so I know a lot of people are spending way more than I am a year, and they're not making it. And they're not getting it back anymore like they used to. And these are people with way more viewers than me, who put in hours on AI every day for thumbnails. It's a trap. And women are yet taking the social media in larger numbers than ever before, ever increasing, desperate for attention. And part of it is, yes, because they're not getting dates. But when you've made 2 or 3 videos complaining you're not getting dates, we know what you are. We know what you're doing. We're not going to watch anymore. And I think, as the views count goes down for a lot of people, particularly these streamers who've streamed for the last almost 20 years, 15 years, constantly, getting $100 super chats to Jiggle, no longer getting there. And I mean, really, if you're paying $100 to someone online, any money to someone online to Jiggle physics, there's something wrong with you too. So excessive social media is not confined to women, but it's predominantly women. 77% of your social media harlots are women. That is, constantly seeking validation, trying to monetize their appearance. And this goes with number 13, excessive makeup and styling. Heavy makeup, that is makeup with constantly, you can't even go to the grocery store without putting on makeup, or having over stylized hair, or clothing, always having to have the latest look. You have to have new clothes every day. That's getting tiring. Lack of supportiveness. Now, I'm not talking about financial support or even housework. I'm talking about the fact that you do not care about anything we do. All you do is constantly nag that you are not giving them attention. Everything you want to do is somehow super important. Yet we want a game, we want to watch a movie in peace, and you just can't have it. So men, this comes to 15, playing games. Now, when a man says you're playing games, he's not talking about video games. He's talking about creating unnecessary drama in a relationship to manipulate a man by screaming at him when he's playing a video game that you're not paying attention, screaming at him that you've left this toilet seat up. Hey, men do that on purpose. Okay? 2, yes. They want to get back at you. All they do is find the thing that you hate the most and do it. It goes both ways, but being manipulative and creating drama in a relationship, once you start, it becomes a cycle. And I mean, the best thing you could do, and a lot of men are realizing that now, is to walk away, not start. All right. I think everyone knows what manipulation is. Tears, women can turn on the waterworks, pretty much promise the world, pretty much feminism, socialism, etc. Promise the world. It's going to be utopia. It's going to be the land of milk and honey. Only there's a toll gate. A price. Poor health choices. Now, I'm not just talking about smoking here. A lot of men can still put up with smoking. I'm talking about how young women engage in frequent drug use, excessive alcohol consumption, and then have the gall later to lecture a man to clean up his act. As soon as she kicks her bad habit, she suddenly wants you to kick off yours. Like, women, to bum free drinks and free drugs and free boo, alcohol, drugs, whatever, smokes, will hang around a smoker, a drug addict, or multiple drug addicts, and sell themselves to get free drugs. And then suddenly they'll clean themselves up, and they'll pick a man, and they'll try to manipulate him into being clean to take care of her and her mess and her problems. It's usually when women clean up their act, it's either because they're pregnant or their bodies are breaking down. Often both. Lack of confidence. When a woman acts insecure to the point where I can't open this jar. You stir. The kitchen's too hot. You stir the rice. Like, man, you still stirring vegetables? The only reason why your mom stirred vegetables was to get away from your dad and or in the colder weather to warm up, or, like a lot of people, hide the fact that you brought frozen vegetables are not fresh. Now, these days, a lot of frozen vegetables are flash frozen, so they don't stick together, and they thaw pretty quickly when you put them in hot water. They don't need to be stirred constantly. But they do things like that. Act out on behaviours without thought or reason, appearing insecure so that you would pity them. And again, it's a manipulation act. But it's a particular manipulation that drags people down. Right, so lack of communication. Man, women and their passive-aggressive behaviours, the silent treatment, always pointing out your flaws but never engaging in a real conversation, always dismissing you as misogynist or sexist or dismissive of her feelings. The fact that they cannot articulate what's wrong half the time because they don't want to tell you. It's not really, and I've heard this. A lot of women recently have been making videos saying that PMS is just an excuse for aggressive behaviour. I don't know, but it is something to look into. Now, number 19, disrespectful of boundaries. Yeah. The biggest one is being the centre of attention, creating drama. But there's women who like to walk in on someone's conversation between two bros and make it about themselves. Not listening to no. I've heard many different stories. A lot of men call it the ugly truth. Things that men hating women in particular is when women just run over boundaries and start sharing naked photos of men. And they do. And men do it too. Don't respect boundaries, sending pee-pee photos to a lot of girls. Because a lot of women have put it out there that, Western women particularly with cock size. Now, it's not just Western women. I've had women of many cultures want to see my cock when I was younger. And I think there's a lot of men out there who've had women ask for dick pics in the early days of the internet. You want to fuck us? Show us what you got, And when you get older, men hit a wall too. There's a point where men become unattractive to women. Let's face reality. But someone will say, you speak for yourself, and I am in this respect. But you have to be honest with yourself too, right? Unless you got that six-pack, those 6-inch muscles on your arms, and and you're packing a genuine 6-incher, a lot of women are not interested in you. Be honest, and they don't respect boundaries. They'll give their girlfriends every detail. And I've had this, and a lot of men out there will testify this. If you're too good, if you really get a girl worked up, she'll tell everyone. And you'll have her friends hanging on your friend's arm going, wanting to wink, wink, nudge, nudge as soon as your girlfriend's back's turned. Or your wife even. Women do not respect boundaries. They're only in it for themselves. And when they get that bad behaviour, that is a red flag above all red flags. But I think this comes down to 19 and 20 being the same, with number 20 being constant comparison. Ex-boyfriends, movie stars, the fantasy figures in their porno mags. Oh, I'm sorry, women's magazines, or their latest, what's it called? Row fantasies, romance fantasies, pornography. Hey, I write with an erotic / adult / mature content. But again, when it comes to women, they can break boundaries because they're protected, right? and even some people like Stephen King have written some pretty shady stuff over the years that would get most people. In fact, the other day, an author was taken to court in Australia for writing a dirty story that was a little too dirty about a person of indeterminate age who looked rather youthful. So, and the mistake they made, they didn't make it clear she was over. It turned out, right, not towards the end, that she was a woman in her 30s, pretending to be 18, and telling everybody she was 16. And so that's a huge red flag when you write. But it was a woman who did it. But she wrote under a male pen name. Of course. But there's a number of cases. There's another one where a man did cross the line and, yes, throw the book at him. That's not the case that most people hear about every time. Like, most people hear about the obvious ones, but never the people who get away with it. And then someone else thinks, oh, they got away with it, I can do too. Now, when women get away with shit, even other women can be called up on it. Sometimes women will not tolerate each other's shit. It does depend on their peers. But women are not listening to men. When men set boundaries, women aren't listening. When men say, stop comparing us to Tom Cruise or Tom Jones or Ed Sheeran or gosh, I heard the other day someone said, I keep getting compared to an early Marlon Brando, and it's like, I read a lot of stuff every day, and I think, this list is in reverse order from the most complained about. Extreme negativity is probably the most complained about thing I have heard in recent times. But I think when I was younger, it was women who smoked, women who lack of confidence. You used to call them clingy, clingy or clucky. Clucky, I think, isn't mentioned. These are women, basically, who want you to knock them up, who want you to, plough the field 24/7. But once they've got a baby, they want nothing to do with you. That's not there, probably because it's not in the top 20 of complaints anymore, because most women don't want to get pregnant. And again, that should be in the top 20 complaints, women who don't want to get pregnant. But constant comparison, maybe that's because you don't get to the point, even in most relationships. I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, the majority of dates never end in sex. They never get that far. The majority of women serial date and do not have sex. The number of sexual contacts reported by women outnumbers the number of sexual contacts encountered by men. You know what's going on. You know what feminism is. I even hear complaints about what feminism is. And yet, they still engage in it, even if they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit what feminism is. Now, I know, and I remember my youth, how everyone used to love the idea of women on women action until you realise that that is a bad habit for life. It's like men get it too. It's called masturbatorial addiction. A lot of people with masturbatorial addiction do end up gay. A lot of people who engage in oral sex end up with medical problems in later life. It was rarely reported on, but people used to ridicule Michael Douglas until they found out that most of the people he was in hospital with, all the same problems. The fact that women harbour a huge bacterial farm between their legs that's there not to coat your skin as you're born with a protective layer. It's not there. All that squirt It's not there to entertain you. It's there to coat and protect the baby. That's it. People are, but Rule 34. If it exists, someone will sexualize it. But I think men are maturing. I think men are realizing that the drama ain't worth it. And if you want something right, do it yourself. That a $7,000 sex robot, heck, there are people who there are millionaires spending money on 100. Where do you think the corporate robots are going? They're not buying the corporate robots as meters and greeters. No. They're buying them because they're buying themselves an expensive blow-up Debbie. And I think within 5 years, those $7,000 bots are going to be $1,200 bots. I have a $1,200 affordability range, but not at $7,000. And I think the majority of men in the world would buy a $7,000 bot, let alone a $140,000 bot. But Elon is not in the business of making $40,000 or $50,000 robots for you and me. He's making them for his fellow rich people. Most of the robots in the world are your replacement. But when it comes to replacing women, China is leading the way. China has the largest robot industry in the world, double the domestic number of robots for the rest of the world. If you add up all the domestic robots sold in the world today, the majority of them, 3/4 of the world's robots are now sold in China, domestic. And it's only going to get worse for women because these behaviours are not going away. And every time you point out bad behaviour in women, you know what they do? They double down. And they'll give me negative comments and they'll scream, they'll cry, they'll get you flagged, they'll say something nasty hoping that you'll take the bait. I've seen it all before. But I'm warning you, these nasty behaviours, they are found in men. They are not just confined to romantic relationships. So you've got to bear in mind, every time you're dealing with someone, at the moment things turn negative or sour, it's going to be a habit. If they could, it's a human insecurity. When they hear something they don't like, they turn sour. Heck, I bring the news. People always hate bad news and take it out of me, as if I create bad news. That it can't be true. People are so insecure these days, crying, it can't be true, it must be Russian disinformation. No, and eventually, you are better off without them, right? If people are that insecure, they are always bound to stab you in the back, because they'll eventually reach a point in your life where you'll do something that will make them cry because it's not conducive to their exciting idea of what life should be. Like putting off not skipping work to take them shopping, or cutting out not returning to work after lunch to drive them home because it's raining. Women are so expectant of special treatment now. It's getting disgusting. And people are losing their jobs trying to keep their girlfriend. People are losing their lives over girlfriends because women just don't care. And when someone doesn't care about the little things, they don't care about your life. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video. Bye for now.